In this video, I tear down a $200 Intech that I got from Marketplace in the hopes to build a big cammed motor for my Drift Falcon. But as per usual, things snowballed out of control and you're just going to have to watch and find out. Well, got the most almighty motor ever, Intech. This will be one that I'll pull the VCT head off, put a HP head on with stage 5 cam, and then we'll see what the bottom end looks like. But it's meant to only have like 280,000 Ks on it, so it should be alright. But we'll pull everything off, have a quick suss if the bearings look mint. We're sending it, probably, unless I can get a really cheap rebuild shit, but probably just going to send it. Definitely resealing the thing, as she's got oil leaks galore, but that's fine because the motor in my car is the same. They're all the same. It's just standard Ford motors for you. It was then on to tearing the motor down. I first started with pulling off all the accessories like fuel rail, intake, and engine mounts and other little bits. The motor was also still full of oil, so I drained this and had a look at what was in there. I didn't think too much of this at the time, because I'd seen this sort of thing from other motors and they were completely fine, but it was a bit of future foreshadowing. Also, when I was taking the oil filter off, the part that the oil filter screws onto came with it, which I found very odd. Just came clean out. Never seen that. Once the accessories were off, it was on to digging into the motor and finding out if this doink was going to be a good one. To pull the harmonic balancer off, I made my own harmonic balancer puller out of some old pipe and some threaded rod and a couple nuts. Alright, first look to see what the actual condition's going to be like. Oh damn! Damn, this thing's actually been serviced. Holy hell. I need this off so bad. Man, this thing's actually like been looked after. It's not got scum build up. Shit. This is actually like, no joke, got to be one of the best conditioned heads I've seen. So as you can tell, I was pretty chuffed with the way that engine appeared so far. But it doesn't stay that way. It was then on to removing all the VCT gear. And a bit of a tip, with the VCT motors, you can't just take that single bolt out of the cam gear and then slide the cam gear off and then slip the chain off. You need to undo the tensioner to get the chain off. And then take off the chain cover and chain guides. Oh, I don't know if anyone's ever done this before with VCT, but yes, pulling that bolt out just means I can slide back and forth, where normally means you can like slide the gear all the way off with every other single overhead cam, Ford motor. Yeah, got the chain tensioner out and everything. That's all out. But yeah, pain in the ass. Oh, now I should be able to pull this chain off pretty well. I'll be able to get it off completely after I've undone that, taken that out or something, or take that off, and then we'll be able to get it all off, and then head can finally come off. Yeah, I'd be kidding myself if it was that easy. No, I had to take all the rocker arms off to then lift the cam up to then slide the VCT solenoid off to then get the chain out. It was a whole rigmarole, but we got it done. Alright, now it's finally time to take the head off and get into this thing. Time to move the head. Alright, so what have we got? Oh yeah, still got cross hatching. Man, it's hard to see on camera. Oh, yeah. There you go, look at that. Still looks pretty good. But you can see there's spots of glazing and a few score lines. So it was looking pretty good. But there was one piston that had a clean outer edge on, which is a sign that the rings are letting oil past and it is burning oil. But anyway, I digress. It was on to now pulling the sump off and pulling all the main bearings off and having a suss. We started with the main cap side bolts and then did the sump bolts. And it was all off and ready for us to inspect. Before we do the moment of truth, I thought I'd show you as well how little side to side play that's got. I'm pretty darn sure this is going to be mint bottom end. Ooh, actually that's not as good as I thought it would be. I mean, my fingernail's doing more scratching damage than what's on there though. Yeah, well, after that discovery, I decided I'd just pull the whole thing down and check them all out properly. And I'm glad I did. Oh, and just like that, she is stripped. These are actually the best looking of all the bearings, to be honest. The crank looks like mint. It weighs a ton. Like, this thing actually must weigh close to 15 kilos, I'd say. But yeah, most of those are got a fair bit of wear on them. Yeah, bit of wear. There is a couple of these though, like that one there. You can see that score line. Oh yeah, that one is well thrashed. Oh, this one here is the absolute worst though. It has got this massive that don't rub away, and yeah, you can hear my finger catching on it, and then it's got these big score lines all around there. Well, now that I had the Intech all teared down, it was time to start cleaning things up and painting things and making it look all pretty and schmick again. To clean up the head gasket surface on the block, I used some flat bar with some 400 grit, sandpaper and some WD and just went back and forth on it. It might not be the correct thing to do, but it gave a pretty good result, and I can tell you right now the motor is sealing, so make what you will of that. I spent quite some time cross-hatching the cylinders. Things I learnt was to use plenty of oil, clean regularly, check your cross-hatching pattern regularly, and to just go slow and work it out. That's enough of me speaking. Here's some videos of me cleaning and painting stuff. before I end the video, here's a few more things I learnt and did. I used some long lengths of grey Scotch-Brite to wrap around the crank with plenty of WD, and I just went back and forth with that and cleaned up the crank absolutely mint. That's a rod. Yeah. Main bearing. And there you go. Heaps shinier, smoother, nicer. Another little thing I learnt was to use a snapped piece of old piston ring to clean the grooves out of where the rings go. That worked absolutely killer and saved so much time. Ring grooves, so you can see on these ones, a lot cleaner. There's no stuff in there, like that one's still got all crap. So I'm just letting them soak in kerosene, with a bit of degreaser in it as well, not much, just mainly kerosene overnight or for a few hours. Then I'm grabbing one of the old rings that I've snapped and just running it through these grooves to clean them out. And then just using this little plastic bristle brush and just running that through the grooves. And that is doing quite a good job, really. Like, these are so much better. Like, that's actually silver in there. Thanks for watching, and be ready to tune in for the next episode of The Motor Build.